Russia has now put out imagery, and again, this is imagery by Russia, so you have to take it with a grain of salt, of a drone going right into the Kremlin. I mean, right off Red Square on the Kremlin. They are claiming was a drone sent to assassinate Vladimir Putin. So close. I mean, that means it's inside Moscow.
You're over the building.
Probably only 100 feet maybe.
You're right. It opens up a lot of those questions. It's not like you could fly this thing all the way across and not be detected.
Now, when we think of drones these days, I usually think of like the Reaper drone when I think about trying to assassinate someone, and those are as big as a plane. So that would have caused a much larger on-the-ground explosion. Like there would have been a lot of damage. There probably would have been even significant loss of life because there's security. There are definitely people on top of those buildings, just like there are Secret Service with guns pointed on top of the White House and the Capitol and congressional buildings. I mean, you drive through D.C. and look closely, on top of most buildings is someone with a gun.
Yeah, absolutely.
And on some of those buildings, we have anti-aircraft. And that's what was utilized here. The question is it a real video?
We at least know they lie.
A lot of people should be able to confirm this happened. This is not only is it the Kremlin, it's in the major, very busy part of Moscow, which is still operating at full speed right now. You know, I mean, it's not like they're closed down because of the war.
I think Ukraine even is operating. It's wartime, but it's not everywhere.
The traffic outside of there is intense, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So I doubt that they would just CGI it like Iran style. But what I do think is that if there's a real aftermath, and then second is the drone. If anything's left of it, they should be able to show the world if it's a U.S. drone.
Eerily like a Chinese spy balloon moment. I mean, in some ways, the way you're talking about, it's like, we should be able to look at it. Oh, we can't find it. It's in the bottom of the ocean. You know, those are the kind of things that felt like...
Just by little pieces, you would know that. You would then be able to know which side had it.
But we're not going to know. I mean, Russia is saying this was an assassination.
Russia's not going to go there. The question is, we have intelligence.
Okay.
Are they just that bad now? I mean, they got the whole invasion wrong when they said it would take 2 days. Now we're in a long-scale war.
Over a year.
It seems like it's never going to come to an end. And now we have reports of Ukraine taking offensive action.
This is a quote that came from RT, which is Russian, kind of backed news. They said, Russia reserves the right to retaliate anywhere and anytime it deems necessary. And this was specifically in response to what they're saying. There's a drone attack on President Vladimir Putin's residence, the Kremlin. That was a quote from RT.com. So that's what they're saying. So regardless if this is real or if this is fabricated, Russia is utilizing this moment to potentially scale up this to a significant way that we probably can't even anticipate.
Blinken was asked about it. He said he's seen the reports. He can't validate them, but we don't know. Here's why I think that's unacceptable. We are funding the Ukrainian war. We should be able to definitively say before Russia has a chance to utilize this to escalate the conflict, we should be able to definitively ask the Ukrainians and get 100% answer if this was them or not, so that we can then tell the world this was not Ukraine. If we're paying for the war, they should have to be honest with us. If they will not be, then we shouldn't be funding the war.
Yeah, at least have some transparency.
I just don't like the fact that the U.S. government will not come out today and definitively answer this. If this wasn't our conflict, fine. But we are the number one financier of the Ukrainian war machine. And if we should be able to definitively come out and say this was absolutely not Ukraine. I don't want to hear from them. I don't want to hear from the Russians. I want to hear it from our own government, because if they won't give us that answer and we don't trust them, we shouldn't trust them with our military equipment.
Yeah, and think about if there was an assassination attempt on our own presidents or leaders. It's not like we don't take that stuff seriously.
Very seriously.
They're saying the Ukrainian military did this. So, Of course, there will probably be retaliation if they are able to, one, if it's true, or two, if they can convince their own people that it's true.
Both sides could use this, too. The Ukrainians can also use this to escalate and say, now we need to, even though we didn't do this, we've got to escalate because they're going to escalate.
Right.